first moved to the valley here nearly 20 years ago, and through Nicholas and Monica, Paul became one of our very close friends. It was great. I think the first time we were there, we were at their house up in Chemainus, and you all know how many different houses they had. Paul was a very special soul, and he was a philosopher. He was certainly an artist. I think we're very fortunate to have a number of Paul's works in our house. If you go in the living room, you'll see a lamp made out of a tree, which was one of Paul's works. And the lamps in the back porch and in the front porch. Certainly a poet, we know about that. And he produced this wonderful collection. And he was a troubadour. And he went around singing ballads. And over top of all this, he had a wonderful philosophy towards life. And I think that's where we find so much inspiration from him. Nicholas, would you care to do a song for us? A poem? Yeah. Okay. So many of you, I think, know Nicholas here.
Those of you who don't know me, I'm Nicholas, and I've been a friend of Paul's for 21 years. We've spent most holidays together for a long, long time. Our children grew up together. Paul was more than a friend to me. I can't quite explain it. He has such a strong family. How he could fit me in the way he did leaves me kind of dumbfounded right now, because the last things that he said to me were just beautiful things that I would never notice about myself. I mean, that was one of the things I liked about Paul. You know, when you were down or you were feeling like you'd given up on yourself, he'd come up, he'd go, "Come on now, let's go fishing, we'll talk about it." And by the end of the day, you'd come up with a plan. It was never like, I'm going to have a party. You know, it was always like, "Oh, we're going to have a party. What are we going to do?" And so it was always a weed. It was, and you know, I probably feel really sad about this loss, but I can't feel it. He's still in me. You know, he's still in me every time the other day I went fishing, bass fishing the whole time. Paul's with me. You know, and I think how would my life be without that feeling? And I'm just grateful that this man is ever in my life. And my family's life, my daughter's life. She came from Montreal to see her. And she was come to see her uncle. So yes, Paul, I want to read one of your poems. I love your poetry. This one is called "A Moment Has Passed." And it starts, "A moment has passed. My life is drawing near, the experience of my lifetime, every moment I hold here. A reflection of my will to be, a doodle on the fabric of time. As fleeting as this moment has been, this moment has been mine. Some things I've done were ugly, others were divine. I judge not what I have been. I was a child, that is all. I was a child, I am a child. I forgive, and in that I find I judge. I have many contradictions. In this sentiment, I guess, how sweet has been this journey. For the love I've received, I am blessed. To love as deeply as I have loved is my reward for being true, and forgiveness for my deceits, humbled before God, humbled before self, my ego is silenced. A moment has passed. My life is gone now. You know, he was always just so shockingly aware of his mortality. Was always walking under thin branches. I've said enough.
Very nice.
I'd like to take some time, if others, have stories to share about Paul's life. So I certainly welcome people to come up. Is there anybody?
Of Dad that you could imagine. He taught us everything from how to build birdhouses and win a first prize to how to start fires with magnifying glasses. Paul Manuel taught me a lot. Our first meeting happened when he came through the kindergarten door in the dynamic, personable, kind and friendly way that we grew to rely upon. Did I say that he was accompanied by his beautiful wife and his dark-haired, gorgeous child? Oh yes, love was certainly in the land that day. We quickly learned that Paul adored his family and loved all the children of the class as well. Perhaps he saw in them something that mirrored his wide-awake child self. When Paul was with us, we felt we were in the presence of a kindred spirit. Paul and his family lived to be true to those first impressions, and they continued to make a great impact on the school community. I want to tell you about one special memory. Paul loved the festivals, and as the festival year proceeded, he became more and more involved, offering to help set up festivals, making valuable suggestions, and also asking lots of questions. He was a lover of life, and on a quest to deepen his understanding of the magic in life. It was a delight to see Paul's eyes shining as well as the children's during the classroom festivals. One year, Paul helped gather some of the boughs for the Advent spiral and attended the parent meeting about celebrating Advent in the home previous to this. He learned at this meeting about the possibility of celebrating the 4 kingdoms of nature during the weeks before Christmas. Now, the following story relates to this and is only one of the ways that Paul touched my heart. There are many. Paul left the Advent spiral celebration with tears in his eyes that day. I stayed to prepare the classroom for the following day's magic. Little did I know that there was some other magic happening in the land. For the very next morning when I came to school, there was a fir bough hut on the playground when I arrived. Every day after that, I would eagerly venture out to the play yard to investigate the hut made of boughs before the children came. I felt like one of the children who could hardly wait to get to school to see what magic Dusty Gnome had created this time. Perhaps Paul anticipated that this surprise could mean as much to the teachers as it did to the children. One day there were some crystals there. Another day, a delicious bowl of fruit and flowers. I've often wondered what Paul would have done if we'd been at school on the Advent week associated with the celebration of animals and people. I would have expected to find a lamb, a basket of puppies, or even Paul camped out there one day. What made this experience so special for all of us was that we did not know how these things arrived or who brought them. And Paul did not destroy the effect of the mysterious arrivals by the telling. You can imagine some of the grandiose imaginations of the children. It was months later that he fessed up after I once again pressed to know. This is just one special story about the giving and fun-loving nature of our dear friend Paul. I can imagine that the angels are celebrating his arrival back to his other home. Diane and Alexandra, now he will want to pour so many blessings across the threshold to you both. He'll be closer than you may realize.
Very nice. That was so good.
Please accept my love and greetings at this time of sorrow from Ruth Carr.
Very nice. Thanks.
I'd just like to add a little poem that Paul brought to me. Nearly 10 years ago I lost my husband, and Paul actually saw a vision of him on a beach and he was inspired to write this little verse, and he brought it round to me, and I think it's a good verse for today. Please do not worry about me. There is absolutely nothing to fear. In passing, my eyes have been opened. Everything is suddenly clear. My life with you was a wonder. I love you and I'll always be there.
Thank you. Anybody else? This is Keith, I believe. Keith? Oh, what I'm really surprised by, and I think it's wonderful, is the number of people gathered here today who are Carney involved. And so here's one of them right here.
Okay, well, we've had the really nice side of Paul. We're going to go the other way now. Paul and I met, like, in the early 70s in a carnival business. And there was a carnival game out there called Fluky Ball. Now, Fluky Ball consisted of a board, a bucket, and a little ball called a wiffle ball. And Paul and I used to make it look so easy, you figured there'd be a winner here every time. Well, it wasn't quite that easy to win. And there was ways of kind of manipulating the game so that you couldn't win. So one year, Paul and I went back east, and Canada's Conklin Show was a really respected show. And I phoned up the manager and I said, because I owed him some money. And I said, I'll tell you what, Paul and I are going to come back and we want to set up a fluky ball game. He said, are you out of your mind? We can't have that kind of thing on the show. And I said, well, we'll be really good. We'll just be really good. We won't get into any problems with you. So he let us come back there. So we set up the game and we played about 4 spots and we got to Simcoe, Ontario. And Simcoe, Ontario was a bit of a challenge for us because we ran into a couple of people that we had a problem with. In other words, we took too much of their money. And one of the guys said, oh, I'm going to go to the cops and tell them about this thing. So we tried to get him settled down, gave him a free teddy bear, and gave him his money back and that. And we thought, okay, everything's fine. So next day, we're in the game, we're working away, and we look up the midway, and here comes 10 dressed policemen down. And we figured, oh, that's it. They're going to bust us right here. So Paul and I decide that the best thing to do is get out of here. So we climb up the back of the tent, and we start heading off the carnival lot. Leave everything right there on the midway. What turns out, they weren't busting us. They were the security guards, or the security detail, for the Minister of Agriculture from Ontario, who was just coming down the midway. So that's my little sojourn into the carnival world with Paul. He was a great guy. We had so much fun together. It was just a marvelous thing to be associated with Paul and have such a great time with him. And I hope you enjoyed that story.
Very good. Awesome.
Thank you, Keith. It's quite interesting when I first learned about Paul's involvement with Royal American. I lived in Regina. That's where they got busted and kicked out of Canada. Anybody else? Edie. Welcome. She's from New York.
When he shall die, take him and cut him out into little stars.
Can't hear you.
When he shall die, take him and cut him out into little stars. And he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night and pay no worship to the garish sun. Romeo and Juliet.
Nice.
I have known Paul for 50 years. When Ante and I arrived in Canada from the States, we crashed at Dave and Carol's apartment in Toronto, and so the introduction to the Manuel clan and also our friend Donna. We crashed at Paul's folks' house, Mom Pops, to all who knew them. We traveled to Carnival together. We lived in New Hampshire together to play the ponies at Rockingham Park. We did not make a killing. We lived in Thunder Bay. We came to BC from Thunder Bay, again crashed at Dave and Carol's place in the West End, where we met Vicky and the whole Ottawa gang. Close to 50 years is a long time to have and keep a friend. I would always tell Paul he was my favorite, and truth be told, he was. Paul had an artist's eye in things. He could write, create art from just a piece of driftwood, which he would make into beautiful furniture. He knew his antiques. He could sing and play the guitar, and when you were with him, you knew you were in the presence of someone who was full of wonder and who just loved being alive. A walk with Paul was a lesson in nature. He would notice everything, from a rock to a particular mushroom. So how do you sum up 50 years of a life with a friend? I really cannot. I just know that I will miss him forever and remember. For Diane and Alex, my love to you for the adventure Paul brought to your lives, and to all the Manuels. I love you all.